Okay, sealed portion, chapter 10. The Christian church getting exposed again. Catholic church as well. Let's start with it down here where I started with. We'll start with right here. We'll start with chapter 10, verse 8. And at this time, during the life of the reign of Nephi, there was none that was prohibited from partaking of the ordinance of the endowment, it being taught to the people symbolically with signs, tokens, penalties, and symbols that no one could understand unless he was giving this knowledge and this understanding by the gift of the Holy Ghost, which gift was only given to those who are righteous. Very few people are righteous and walk on a righteous path. You can walk on the righteous path, but that doesn't mean you're chosen. And as we'll see, many are called, few are chosen. Now, let's jump down to verse 16. And because of the church is named after the name of the Most High, or whatever you want to call this name right here, and it is not the name, or in other words, based upon the gospel, this holy endowment shall be changed and modified according to the desires and the precepts of the leaders of this church. Why do so? Because of the praise of this world. And my soul is burdened exceedingly as I read the words of the brother Jared, who hath seen the coming forth of this church among the Gentiles. Now, this church is named after Jesus Christ, but it's not named after Jesus Christ, but it's not named in Jesus Christ, meaning they don't do his works. They say that they're Christians. They say that they're followers of the word. They say that they're keepers of the covenant, keepers of the code. But everything they do, every action they take, and whether it be through the church or a part of their nation, it just shows the exact opposite. I put next to it right here in the little side part, I put Christian church, the LGBT scene, and all other false nonsense that they come out with. Like Easter, celebrating, not following the high holy days, not honoring the Sabbath, going to church on Sunday, and many other crazy Christian pagan ideologies that came out of nowhere, but they call their churches after the Holy One, the Mighty One, the Most High. And of those that do receive this endowment, few will understand its meaning because of the many changes that have been done to it, because of the misunderstanding and the wickedness of the leaders of the church, the priest of Mahan. We know that the Christian and Catholic Church are unbelievably guilty, unashamed of how much they've taken out of the scriptures and how many books they've hidden and how they've broken up the Bible and said, we don't like this part, we don't like that part. Right here I have my Apocrypha. This should be in most regular day Bibles. This should be kept in most Bibles, and this is in some Bibles, but for the most part, if you go into your average Christian church and you look into a pew, or you ask them to borrow a Bible for today's service, you're not going to find this book at all. You're not going to see this book at all. You're not going to know anything about this book. In the Catholic Church, well, we'll get to them later. So again, behold, in their pride they shall believe that if a person doth not abide by the commandments of the church, then he will not be allowed to behold his holy endowment, which is a blessing from God unto all his children. Yea, there shall be found among them those who follow the words of Christ and obey them with a broken heart and a contrite spirit. Nevertheless, because these do not obey the commandments of the church and its leaders, which commandments are not the words of Christ, but the precepts of men, they are not allowed to enter into the temples. How many times have you been told that? I've been told that. Many people have been told that. Why are you asking so many questions? Well, I'm not sure about this. That's a good question. I'll get back to you later on that. Christian pastor this. Let me ask you a question about this. Let me ask you a question about that. You know, I think you should just leave. There's a meme where it says when you bring up too many good points to a Christian, and it shows Chris Hemsworth's face, like all scrunched up like that. Ooh, like, time for me to duck out of this conversation. That's where they go. That's what you get. So this book is getting me knowledge. I'm reading it in what I can and in the amounts I can. Right now I'm on chapter 10. We'll get to many other good chapters, but other than that, another exposure of the priest of Mahan, the wicked church, the false church.